Well, good morning. Happy Monday, because by the time you get this, it'll be Monday. And this will be the last devotion of the whole quarter. And I didn't quite know what I wanted to do this for this last devotion, but I did know that I wanted to make a clean break. Because this has been a challenging quarter, a quarter where we've been separated from each other, and a quarter that we would really like to put behind us and start new. Start new with a new fall quarter, start new with new programs and everything. It's time to move on. But I wanted to end this quarter with this story. And the story that I want to tell you is one that you already know. And you've known since you were probably a kid. Even non-Christians know the story. And it's of the most famous judge. And that most famous judge is Samson. Because there's even songs about Samson and Delilah. Even though they haven't read scripture, there are people that know about Samson and Delilah. And as you know, Samson did not live a godly life, even though he was dedicated to the Lord. And finally, near the end of his life, he had met this woman who had just, caught his fancy. And she is not dedicated to him, just like he's not dedicated to the Lord. And so she's asking him, where's the source of your strength? Where's the source of your strength? And he lies to her a couple times. And then finally, it says that she nags him to death. Like he would rather die than listen to her nagging anymore. And finally, it says this. So he told her everything. No razor has ever been used on my head, he said, because I have been a Nazarite set apart to God since birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as other men. And as you know, she ends up calling the Philistines back, makes him fall asleep on her lap, and has somebody shave off his head, and that's when his strength leaves him. Now, there's a lot of people that think that his strength came from his hair. But if you're a Hebrew scholar, actually, if you are just a Jew that knows the story, you know that that's not the truth. The hair did not give him strength. He had taken a vow since birth, or this vow was performed upon him since birth, and he was to be a Nazarite, set apart for God. And what it says in Numbers chapter 6 is it sets three things that are supposed to happen, that are supposed to separate you from the regular population to show you are a Nazarite. And the first thing it says, if a man or woman wants to make a special vow, a vow of separation to the Lord as a Nazarite, he must abstain from wine and other fermented drink, and must not drink vinegar or wine or other fermented drink, or eat anything from grapes. So number one, no grapes, no wine, no drinks. The second one is, it says, during the entire period of his vow of separation, no razor must touch his head. So one is no grapes, no wine, no alcohol. Second is no razor. And then the last one is, it says, throughout the period of his separation to the Lord, he must not go near a dead body. So no alcohol, grapes, no shaving of the head, no haircuts, and no touching dead bodies. But as you know, Samson had touched plenty of dead bodies because he had been in quite a few battles. And his life, he was a drunk half the time of his life. So he was holding on to that last little part of the vow. I'll stay strong if nobody cuts my hair. Now here's the crazy thing. And later on in that chapter of number 6, it says there is a time where you can end your vow. If you need to end your vow, there is a time, and it says you get your sacrifice ready. But it says in verse 18, then at the entrance to the tent of meeting, the Nazarite must shave off the hair that he has dedicated. He is to take the hair and put it in the fire that is under the sacrifice of the offering. So the ending of the vow is to shave off the head. Now here's where we're going to be a little bit unique, is I'm actually going to let you witness the shaving off of my head. So I've had my family come over here, and they're going to cut my hair. So that's it. It's all gone. I'm sure it's all on me right now. But I want to say this. I actually want to ask you a question first. Do you know what legalism is? Because a lot of people think that legalism is just trying to earn your way to heaven. But in my head, and I actually believe that legalism is defined a little bit differently. Legalism isn't just trying to win your way to heaven. It's trying to do the least or the minimal amount to make sure that your vow to God is acceptable. It's doing the least amount. And I think that that's the problem with Samson. The problem isn't that he's just gone totally off. The problem is he's just trying to keep one pinky on God while the rest of his body is in the world. So, since he wasn't willing to end his vow, God said, I will force you to end your vow. I will have somebody else shave your head by force. And if you notice, the end of the story of Samson is that he actually ends up renewing his vow to the Lord, and he dies a death of sacrifice to the Lord. But it took somebody coming and shaving his head and renewing that vow. So here's my challenge to you, as I'm challenging myself in this, is even if you're not going to shave your head, it's time to renew your vow to the Lord. Let's start all over. Let's renew our life to the Lord. Let's renew this campus to the mission of the Lord. And my challenge to all of us, let's just go full force, dedicated to the Lord, just like we were Nazarites. I hope you have a great summer. I hope you're ready for the fall, because we're going to start all new. Have a great day.